Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Blazing Sword Let's Play. And yes, please don't remind me. Oh yeah, the group has taken a massive blow to the morale, and it absolutely sucks. So we need to regroup and get our bearings back together. Another thing I like about Blazing Sword, when something big happens, the group needs to regroup. It's not like they just keep moving forward, because after something like that, you can't just keep moving forward, especially considering Elwood is technically the one who did it. So this chapter, we get quite a lot of backstory into what happened, and I'm also going to cover the battle preparations chapter afterwards. But this chapter is more exposition, but it does, serve a good thing about Athos's backstory. Sorry. And I will say, in Hector mode, this chapter plays a massive role in Hector's character development and his relationship with Osmond, but we'll see that when we actually get around to Hector mode. In the meantime, I've got questions to answer, and you've got questions you want to have answered, so let's get to it. I will be stopping now and then to talk about the story and so on. What are your thoughts on the upcoming Code Geass Season 3? I think it's a fucking stupid idea. Code Geass has one of the best anime endings ever. I think it was beautiful, I think it worked really well, and it wrapped up everything. Third season doesn't need to happen. If it's good, great, but honestly, doesn't need to happen. I think it's dumb. Okay. Are you planning on Let's Playing Sacred Stones? If you are planning to Let's Play Sacred Stones, who do you plan to follow? First, Erica or Ephraim? Obviously I'm gonna Let's Play Sacred Stones. I'm Let's Playing every Fire Emblem game, people. Every single one of them. That's the thing I've decided. I'm going to do both, but what we're gonna do is, because I can make store points, I'm gonna do Ephraim's first and show off his path, but then I'm going to go back and do Erica's from that point on till the end of the game. So I'll show off Ephraim's first and then do Erica's for a full thing. Because there's no point doing two entire full playthroughs and only if it's just for certain chapters. Anyway, here's the backstory about Nagal and Athos. They were just both in the search of more knowledge and stuff. They both had the same goals. They were wise beyond their years and very talented at magic. So they both started on the same way, it's just they both went down different paths. So you can see that Nagal wasn't just evil all the time. It was just a case of, his views strayed off into the wrong direction. And the same person asks, what's your opinion on Comrade as a character and a unit? As a character, I think he's cool. He does his job well as like that mysterious figure who helps out. He's a nice guy. As a unit, he ain't bad either. I don't use him that much, but for what it's worth, I use him quite a bit at the end of Zerlika's path, so he definitely had his uses. He's cool. I think Conrad is cool. Cool Comrade. Okay. Which character do you want to see in Fire Emblem Warriors as DLC? Pretty much, Alm, Hector, Elwood, Roy, the Black Knight, the Lagoose Kings, the villains like Leon and Sophia. Jesus Christ, that was so good. I'd love to see Ike. I'd love to see Erica and Ephraim, Sigurd. Pretty much the main lords from all the different games, the main villains from all the different games, and a couple of fan favorites. Those are the type of people, that's what we think. But at the time of this video, we have seen the first batch of DLC, and though to be fair, Derek did say on Twitter, and on his video that, they could surprise us, and someone posted in comments, Hyrule Warriors got like 3 waves of DLC over time, so this might be the first wave. Obviously, for the first wave, it doesn't look impressive, but until we actually find out what's in the packs, we don't know. So yeah, this is Athos and Nagal. They were studying in Nabata, where dragons and humans live peacefully. It's that one village where everything is fine. And basically, it was they lived a great life, and then once they discovered about Quintessence, it kind of poisoned Nagal's mind. Which characters do you want to see from Shadow Dragon and Awakening into Warriors? Shadow Dragon, I want to see Minerva there. I want to see Ogma there. I wouldn't mind seeing like maybe Garneth or Medeus. I'd love to see Camus there. I'd like to see maybe Lyndall or Merrick. Possibly Jagan, even though I'm not huge on Jagan. He is kind of iconic with Shadow Dragon, so there's that. As for Awakening, I'd like to see Owain, because that'd be cool. I'd like to see Tharja. I think Anna should be there, because I associate Anna with Awakening. I'd like to see Sumia, of course. I'd like to see... Who'd be interesting? Noe would be cool, just another dragon. I actually wouldn't mind seeing Gangrel or even Warheart. They'd be kind of interesting. And yeah, those are the top of my head. Those are the ones I'd like to see. Olivia wouldn't be too bad because I'd like to see how they do a dancer with a sword. That'd be cool. Yeah, so Dangal got consumed and thus decided to don the black cape and the kind of like turban thing he has over his eye. We'll find out by the endgame why he has it. And I got a question. Could you please give us a tour of your recording room and video game collection? Not until live action, so I might do that in the live action Q&A session where I can give you a tour of where I work and my equipment, as well as all the many video games I have. So, you know, expect it in that Q&A session, not this Q&A session. Next up is, which FE villain, besides the Black Knight, would you introduce into FE Heroes? Pretty much, again, Leon. I think Leon would be a cool addition, or maybe Arvis. Either one of those two. A new, like, magic villain. I'd like to see that. Like a really fucking powerful magic user. And possibly Sephirin. Actually, I wouldn't mind Ashnod too. That'd be interesting. A Wyvern, like, a Wyvern unit with fucking beastly attack. Especially a Sword Wyvern unit with beastly attack. That'd be cool. Not just like a, you know, in most cases, Axe Wyvern unit. And we're under attack. God, we can never get a moment of fucking peace. Who is your favourite bad unit? Unit that has bad gross stats, not the best to use in every FE game you've played. Okay, so, well, Genealogy I haven't got far enough to say, and I don't even like Arden, so I can't say that. Binding Blade is easily Gwendolyn. This game, Nino. For Sacred Stones, if we're going to get technical, because she is a bad unit, then Amelia. I like Amelia. Path of Radiance, Soph. For Radiant Dawn, bad unit, favorite one? I don't know, because there's a lot of units in Radiant Dawn. Here's the thing, as much as I hate her character, I've actually made Astrid pretty good in Radiant Dawn, and she's definitely a bad unit, so I might go with her. But if other characters, like maybe, I don't know where Ileana stands. I heard Edward on hard mode is a bad unit, so probably him, because I like Edward. So it's people like that. Awakening, I don't know, like who's the legit bad unit in Awakening? Aside from maybe Donald, but even then, if you just, you know, grind the shit out of him, he's fucking disgusting. So I can't really say for Awakening. As for Fates, I don't really use Gunter, but I like his character. Shadow Dragon, I can better remember half the people. So there's that. I mean, I don't remember who in Fates is like legit bad unit though, because again, with Awakening Fates, it got better with the balancing, so I don't know who's I know Gunter's bad, but still. As for Echoes, I can't remember if there's a bad unit I actually liked. Oh yeah, in Echoes, I'm not sure who's legitimately like bad unit. Who's bad in Echoes? I can't remember off the top of my head for Echoes if there's like a legit bad person that I liked. So Echoes, I don't know. Nils, get back in your room. Hector's not done with you yet. And boy, you stay there. Okay, so chapter 29. This chapter is a case of I love the design of this chapter and the stipulation of what you've got to do, but it suffers from the typical, what I've noticed, the Blazing Sword problem. There's not enough units in this chapter, because I swear, after the first like 2 or 3 turns, there's nothing left. I swear to God, there's like next to nothing. And it's kind of sad because it also doesn't help that they're sending out nothing but archers, which in this game, I remind people, suck. So that really doesn't help. It's just like spamming archers at you, and it's kind of just have a tanky unit with another ranged weapon and you're good. But it kind of sucks because I reckon if they came at you in waves and you really had to focus on defending, but if you were good enough to push past the outer rim, you could get some extra treasure. That would be really, really cool. But here it's a little too easy, if you ask me. So cool concept. Not the best execution, in my opinion. Oh, how would you improve MUs, like my avatar people? I would improve avatars by making them more of a third-party person, so they can have a couple of supports with characters. They're generally you can build them to be certain units, but like don't make them OP and stuff. But they never take center stage of the story. And also it'd be interesting if you gave them, in certain story events, different options. Like, they kind of did this in Fates, but rarely touched upon it, where you have multiple options to say certain things or decide on certain things. Obviously not, like, maybe it's not pivotal what you say, but it could affect, like, conversations you have later. Just to make the characters feel more like, you know, my units, and not just, like, characters who are just built to be the be-all, end-all of the story. That's how I think you can improve them. Okay. Who is your favorite Cain-Abel pair? Cain-Abel pair is probably Kent and Sane, because Kent's overall cool and Sane is a legend. But I also like Sully and Stahl, because Sully is really, really cool. Kaze and Saizo, it's more Kaze. But yeah, I bought Harkin and Louise back because I had room for extra units, so I was like, fuck it, go with these pre-promotes. But off the top of my head, yeah, those are like my favorite Cain and Abels, so Kent and Sane, Kaze and Saizo. And possibly Stahl and Sully. Kieran and Oscar, maybe, because Oscar I'm not huge on, but I do like Kieran quite a bit. Kieran is pretty cool. Go Raph. In Shadow Dragon, is Moth only good because of his weapon? No, he's not a very balanced unit aside from his defense, magic, and resistance, but that's to be expected. But like, even with just like a steel sword and stuff, and the fact he'll always be with you, he can, especially early game, he can be pretty potent. Granted, he do have to wait quite a while before he can, like, towards like the mid to end game before you start using him again. But it's not his weapon that makes him good. I think for Shadow Dragon, he's one of the stronger units in terms of growth rates. Because remember, the growth rates in the game aren't particularly great. What do you think about Fire Emblem timeline? I think for certain games there should be a timeline, like here, like this game, Binding Blade, and you know the Scouring, the Telia series have their own thing. Because I'm always under the impression that unless it's outright stated, Fire Emblem games take place in different universes. Like wait. Yeah, fuck your dodge. Like, you know, I always thought Tellius was his own thing, which I know Priam, but I still think Tellius is his own thing. I think Sacred Stones is its own thing, even though there are various tight, like, hints towards it being part of Shadow Echoes. I was always under the way, like, Alive was its own thing, and stuff like that. Thought Fate should have been its own thing, but it wasn't. You know, unless it's outright stated, then I've always been under the impression that Fire Emblem games are in their own separate universes. 5, 7 critical, and you know, there isn't a timeline connecting them. I mean, with like Echoes and Shadow Dragon and Awakening, yeah, then you can draw the parallels. But aside from that, I only think timeline applies to games which have direct links to other games. Aside from that, I don't think all the games are connected, and I don't think there's an overarching timeline. That's what I think. Don't worry, Louise, we'll get more use out in the Hector mode. What is your favorite monster to do team hunts in Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate? Usually like the Darren Moran or the Elder Dragons, because that's where you really feel the teamwork shine, and a lot of those dragons are built with teamwork in mind. So those types of monsters. Really like the Dalamada and like the thing, not the Dalamada. Yeah, the Dalamada's cool, but it's really the Darren Moran that I really like. What do you call it? Another Fire Emblem 17 ain't out yet, dude. Patient. Yeah, those are the ones I really like hunting. What would you recommend I tell my friend who killed Joshua in Sacred Stones? I recommend you tell that friend, start your father again, and be sure to keep Joshua alive and do the Erica route, damn it. Don't let Joshua die. What kind of person does that? Anyway. What is your favourite thing about FE4? Who are your pairings thus far, and what has your favourite chapter been? My favourite thing about FE4 is I like how the chapter is about doing multiple objectives. I really like that I like when Fire Emblem games have those different stipulations, like you have to either reach a certain point and try and recruit this character. FE4, they really do have multiple objectives, which is kind of backed up by the level design, which it works both for and against it, but I really like that. I like Fire Emblem games where you have many objectives to do within chapters. So yeah, I really like that about FE4. The pairings are less another part, and I can't remember them off the top of my head right now. Poison. Yeah, poison weapons, even though they don't hurt you, the poison still takes effect. And favorite chapter? From what I remember, I think I enjoyed chapter 2 quite a bit, I think. Yeah, because that one was quite big, but that's where you got a lot of other people, and there was quite a lot to do. So I remember I enjoyed that chapter quite a bit. Even though I swear to God, getting some characters in genealogy is like, and the amount of times you just fucking dogpile into, everyone just gets crammed into a giant line or corner. Jesus Christ. Like, all the mountain units just make up this giant turtle. You gotta break through the turtle. Ugh. Yeah, so there's that. And who did I give the Paragon ring to? I think it was either Finn or Lex. Even one of them. It might have been Lex, and I'm happy I did, because good lord, Lex has been really good in that fucking game. And a good feeling about the Brave Bats, because he's just wrecking all kinds of shit. Lex has been really good. I like Lex. Okay. Next question. Games that you recommend or like that are not Fire Emblem, Metroid, or Castlevania. Okay, so in terms of... Oh, we're going to go with different genres. If we're going to go with adventure games, I recommend Zelda and Tomb Raider. I think they're both fantastic. I say Tomb Raider, I mean the recent reboots, so go with them. For first-person shooters, I'd go for... If you're thinking for something a bit more classic, go Time Splitters 2. It's amazing. If you want something more multiplayer-focused, TF2 or Overwatch. They're tons of fun, easy to get into, hard to master, great games. If you want just a really damn good fucking shooting game, go for Doom. I don't care how much I'm going to go on about this, play fucking Doom. If you want a fighting game, I recommend Smash Bros. For just kind of fun, slightly more unorthodox fighting game. If you want a really fast-paced, fun, crazy fighting game, go for Marvel vs. series. And if you want a more stylized, but just generally easy to play, fun fighting game, BlazBlue and Guilty Gear are really good ones as well. If you like platformers, I recommend Crash Bandicoot for just some really good, solid, tons of charm 3D platforming of the PlayStation era. Sonic for some pick the right Sonic game for some really good 2D or 3D fast-paced platforming. Rayman for some really well-designed and very competent and very quite large-scale platforming, especially like Rayman 2 and 3. But Legends for more 2D stuff, but just really well-designed. Mario for just very traditional, but really innovative and really damn well-done platforming. And Donkey Kong for, again, they're quite a spectacle, challenging, but so competently designed and really test the player's skills. Those are some really good platform games. For RPGs, Pokemon, because Pokemon is just, really good, easy RPG for people to get into. Xenoblade, because it's fucking fantastic. Monster Hunter, because even though it's more Monster Hunter is more action-oriented, but I reckon that's still a really good series. If you want kind of like, if you ever played Assassin's Creed, Prince of Persia games are good to go with. If you want to play something like Man and Metroidvania focused, I recommend like Shantae. That's really good if you like Metroid or Castlevania. For kart racing games, F-Zero if you're into really high adrenaline stuff, Mario Kart for just a fun thing, and Burnout for kind of like a middle ground between the two. I like the Burnout series, it's cool. For kind of 2D action side-scrollers, the Mega Man series, Classical X, and the Azure Striker games are really damn good. I enjoy those. For hack and slash, I'd say God of War, Bayonetta, No More Heroes are loads of fun. God of War for just really crazy bloody hack and slash. Bayonetta for really stylish hack and slash. Devil May Cry as well. No More Heroes for really kind of like silly but fun hack and slash. Also, if you like this, I haven't played Dark Souls, but if you're into a very hardcore, really difficult hack and slash, that's really like, you gotta be really careful, play some Bloodborne. Bloodborne's fantastic. And Kingdom Hearts Uprising, not for hack and slash, just for a fun game. As for anime, loads. Attack on Titan's a really good starting point. Fullmetal Alchemist is one of the best to go with. Bebop's fantastic. Guilty Crown and Code Geass. Soul Eater. What else? Because I did an entire video on it. Erased is a great one. One Punch Man's really good. What else is a really good anime? Ghost in the Shell standalone complex. Trigun is a classic. So many. Death Note, My Hero Academia is wonderful. There's loads. There's stuff like that. Okay, next question. Since Lynn being Fire Emblem Warriors is fantastic news, I just want to know if you're happy or cross about the cast representing Awakening and Fates, or upset that the two games are being represented anyway. I'm not upset that Fates and Awakening are being represented. Why? Because I knew they were going to be represented. If they weren't, I would be upset because that just makes no sense. They're the most popular Fire Emblem games. They're recent Fire Emblem games, and, they're some of my favorites, so it just makes the most sense. In terms of the representation, I'm not angry, I'm just kind of like, it's a bit too vanilla and typical. They've gone for, with the Fates route, they've just gone for royals, which I get, but I would have liked a few curveballs here and there. And with Awakening, they've gone for mostly again, the popular characters and the story-related ones. I would have liked, again, if we had maybe Henry, a Sayori, a Nyx, a Kaze, a Felicia here and there. Just something, I know, obviously, you want to go with the popular ones, but a curveball here and there would have been nice. So I'm not angry, just it's kind of plain. Maybe the DLC will fix that. How did you feel about the aftermath following the every hero's gauntlet between Ike and Camilla? Well, it depends on what you want to get into. In terms of the actual thing, Ike won, that's cool, you know, Ike's a cool character. Either way, I would have been happy with either one, but, you know, Ike won. If you want to get specifically into the certain incidents surrounding the Lynn and Camilla thing, where someone got DDoS because they voted for Camilla, alright. Here's the thing. I'm not one to, like, get angry and stuff easily. I'm not going to go on a massive rant, but that was probably one of the lowest points for this entire community. Gotta play Radiant Dawn. Because DDoSing is not funny. You know, you put someone's information out there and you don't know who's on the internet, that person's in serious danger. The people have been killed over DDoSing, so that is not funny. And what's worse, they did it over someone who all they did was vote for Camilla. They didn't make a rant about how Ike sucks or Lynn sucks or how Camilla's the best thing ever. All they did was vote. And I thought that was disgusting behavior. I hope it never happens again. And to the people who either A, did this or condone this type of behavior, it's horrible, it's wrong, and you should feel ashamed of yourself for doing this. Sorry for getting angry. But DDoSing is not funny. Okay? It's not funny. Sorry. Okay. Do you think Ford, on a lighter note, do you think Ford is the best retainer in Fire Emblem series? No, I don't. And if we are going who I think is the best retainer, I don't count Fates because they're forced upon you. I would say either Joffrey, Oswin, Seth, or Frederick because of how devoted they are to their lords, and they have some moments which really push that. Like, Seth is just generally devoted to Erica throughout, and Frederick is very much with Crom. Oswin is devoted to Hector, but in the Hector hard mode, we'll see. There's like he has a massive confrontation with Hector, but it shows how loyal he is. And Joffrey because of how just loyal he is to Alencia. And even in their supports, he does have to he and Alencia do get into a bit of an argument, but it's how they work out around it. So yeah. Are you and Olive close to each other in ages that you are kind of rivals? Or do you tend to tease each other instead? We're not close in ages. There's an 8-year difference between us. We're not like, I'd say my younger brother Isaac and Olivia are more rivals. They like to rival each other at fighting games a lot. But Olivia and I do have rivalries in regards to like Pokemon and Smash Bros. We do try to one-up each other, especially at Pokemon. I mean, Olivia has yet to beat me, but her Mega Blastoise, you know, did some fucking damage, man. She you know, that was a really powerful Mega Blastoise she had. So, we do tease each other a lot, but that's just a brotherly sister thing. We tease, my own family, we love to tease each other, but it's all out of, you know, it's all out of love. It's all out of love. Okay, next one. Have you ever considered doing top 10 most evil Fire Emblem characters? Yes, because a lot of the best Fire Emblem villains aren't the most evil ones, so it'd be nice to see. I have considered doing the ones that are just the most despicable, like, off the top of my head, Garen, Narcian, Sonya, no, Echo's villains actually weren't, like, I don't think Jeddah was super evil. Well, Jared, you know, those type of people where it's not whether a case they're good or bad, they're just despicable. Sometimes it's a bad thing, but sometimes it's such a good thing. So yeah, consider that. What was your least favorite and favorite chapter from Shadow Dragon? My favorite one was the Minerva chapter, just because that was one that I felt was kind of challenging, and you know we just got Minerva, so I thought that was really cool. Least favorite was one with the ballistas, just because that one kind of got kind of green. Keep in mind, I'm not really familiar with the Shadow Dragon chapters, so you know, half the time I was just kind of like, you know, some of them are very forgettable, but those ones still out of my mind. One for the good reasons, one for bad. Was there anything that killed a Fire Emblem game for you? Okay, no. At no point has something killed a Fire Emblem game for me. I've yet to experience a bad Fire Emblem game. I've seen ones that have bad moments and ones that I think are weaker than others, but nothing has killed it. But with that said, I have come very close to dropping Fire Emblem games, and I'll tell you which ones have done it and why. Okay, so first one, Conquest Endgame almost killed me. I was so tempted to just smash my DS. I was getting so fed up. I did persevere, and I still think Conquest is one of the best Fire Emblem games, but fuck off that endgame. Pardon me. So yeah, every time I mention the endgame, it happens. I get an allergic reaction. Speaking of endgame, Part 4 and onwards of Echoes, while there were good bits in between, generally Part 4 and onwards, I honestly wanted to stop playing. I was so fucking bored out of my mind. I mean, granted, that's, if I went back and I knew what I was doing and knew some of the exploits, I would be fine. But for my first playthrough, Jesus Christ, I could not stand it. Birthright Chapter 20, because I've never seen something more dull in my life. And honest to God, like on my second playthrough, that is literally like when I stopped and just played something, I was like, no, I can't do this. It's way too fucking boring. There's only so much faceless I could take. Daybreak from Path of Radiance on my first playthrough almost killed me. I really didn't like that. I was just like, oh God, I can't, switch out units and change my thingamajig. I hate you. Radiant Dawn Part 1 does tend to kill me. I mean, the more I play Radiant Dawn, the better I get. And the chapter's over. I did a lot of, thanks to editing, we skipped out a lot of the unnecessary stuff. So Radiant Dawn Part 1 did kind of kill it for me. Not the worst thing in the world, but goddammit. Rival Bands and Awakening I really didn't like. But that was, like, I really didn't like that chapter just because, I don't know, for the longest time it just gave me so much shit. But it's also optional, so not really a problem. And Chapter 14 of Binding Blade because it's Chapter 14 of Binding fucking Blade. That just absolutely fucking killed it for me. What is your favourite and least favourite moment in all of Fire Emblem? My favourite moment in all of Fire Emblem is from Radiant Dawn's endgame to the end. I think the way it goes down, the stories you uncover, the backstory, the way character arcs finish, the stuff you find out. Oh my God, I love it so much. It's beautiful. From Zelgius, to Sephiroth, to Ginsia, to Micaiah's stuff, to even the Salas, and, all the backstory involving everything, Yune's, Ike's. Oh, it's so good. Least favourite is Chapter 23 towards the end of Awakening. Why? Because the Robin twist came in, and I thought that was so... To this day, I feel like it's the dumbest thing Fire Emblem has ever done, and from that point on, I was just like, oh my God, you gotta be fucking kidding me. So that was my least favourite moment. There are still many great moments, like easily in my top 3 is the chapter we just had, Ninian's death. I love that moment so much. Love it for, I don't love the fact that Ninian died, I love it for just how much themed it is. So, now that the resolve is back once again, we're gonna head off to go fight Nagal. But before that, we gotta prepare. We gotta buy some shit. No, you'll see what I'm getting into. And also, these guys, because of, despite all that happened, the resolve they have to go fight him despite all the things, it kind of gives Athos, it kind of revives his faith in humanity, really. Because despite all the odds and the shit they've been through, they still persevere. That's what makes them Fire Emblem Lords. What was the worst you've been RNG screwed in every Fire Emblem game? I think the worst was Hanoka's first Birthright playthrough because she kind of sucked. Because every time afterwards she's been much better, but I do think Hanoka in the first Birthright one was probably my worst in terms of being RNG screwed. Okay. And which Fire Emblem game would you say has the overall worst level design? I chalk that up to either Echoes or Binding Blade, because Revelations definitely has some fucking terrible chapters. I can't defend Shosh leveling any longer. It's a bad chapter, Back then, I probably enjoyed it just because I thought it was really cool, unique, but when you really look at it, no. And it has some really bad chapters, but I think Revelations is very hit and miss. Half of them I think are actually pretty good, half of them I think, I do admit, pretty damn bad. Whereas Echoes and Binding Blade as a whole, while they may not get as bad as Revelations sometimes, they don't get nearly as good as Revelations. The only thing really good about Binding Blade was Chapter 7 and Chapter 13. I can name quite a few Binding Blade chapters the only thing good about Binding Blade was Chapter 13, Chapter 7. Whereas, Revelations, I can name quite a few, Chapter, I think it was 16 or 17. I really liked the, what was it? The one where you, Xander and Thing are facing off and you got to go through Chapter 14, I think. Revelations had some pretty good stuff. Echoes and Binding Blade. Binding Blade is a case of the level designs overall kind of just meh, but then it occasionally takes massive dickhead moments. And Echoes, the level design is mostly just boring. It has it has some pretty bad chapters, but most of the time it's just boring. So I'd say either Echoes or Binding Blade. This chapter, it lets you outfit your stuff, which I like. I mean, it's kind of pointless chapter, but it lets you outfit for stuff you at the end, so you can just do some arena grinding, get some weapons. That's all it is. It's 5 turns, get your shit and get out. And you also get an extra wad of cash. I've got to tell you, I've never been richer in this playthrough than I have in any other Fire Emblem Blazes or playthrough. Just so much money. I was like, I didn't need the 3,000 gold, but fine. Also, what's interesting, in Hector mode, you can recruit character Carla here, but Barter has to be a level 5 warrior, so because of that, and I want to show off everything, I'm going to have to use Barter in this playthrough. And, you know, that's one of the things that's exclusive to Hector mode. This is why I think Hector mode is one of the better hard mode. Oh, Hector hard mode. Hector hard mode is not only that, it's also just changing up enemy placement and patterns and stuff like that. So that's why I think Hector hard mode is one of the best hard modes out there. It's not just in Binding Blades case. They should have to do the same thing, but make jack up the enemy's HP to ridiculous levels. I swear to God. Most things, I know the stats are overall better, but one thing I noticed, they really jack up the enemy's HP, like Jesus Christ. Yeah. Also, one thing that's cool about this chapter is the conversation Lynn and Ella would have. When Lynn talks about how being with her grandfather's great and all, but she can't help but want to go back to the plains of Sakea. And Ella gets that, which I think now that, because I gave it a bit more thought, I think because of that, Lynn and Raph are canon, because the story does hint at, you know, at the end of the day, Lynn is going to go back. And in her A support with Raph, she does. She leaves after her grandfather dies. Spoilers. And it's not really because she's so old. After the grandfather dies, basically Ostia takes over Kaelen and, you know, looks after it. Lynn leaves with Raph to raise Sue in the Sakea Plains because that's where Lynn belongs. So Lynn and Raph is pretty much canon. And Heroes kind of hinted at that as well because, you know, Sue. Yeah. Which, you know, I'm down. To be fair, I'm the type of person where you could say that Lynn is canon with Ellawood, Hector, or Raph, and I'd be down with all of them. But I definitely, these days, think Lynn and Raph is very much canon. I'm cool with either one. Yeah. And they're also talking about, you know, Hector and stuff. You know, he has changed quite a bit. Even though he may be brash and stuff, he does, you know, he doesn't hesitate, and he does know what he's doing at the end of the day. He'll pull through when he really needs it. But like I said with Lynn, yeah. Next question. Have you played Monster Hunter Stories, and if so, what do you think? I have not played Monster Hunter Stories, but so many people have been messaging me about it that I definitely will try out the demo at some point. And Olivia's really looks really interested in the game, so, you know, I'll definitely give it a try at some point. Okay. Next question. If you could make one change to each FE game you've played, what would it be and why? Binding Blade, balance the units. FE7, work on limb mode and also get more units. FE8, don't make it way too hard, don't make it way too easy, and make the end game better. Path of Radiance, work on the battle animations, they're shit. FE10, supports, oh my god, like, you know, supports. Shadow Dragon, sprites, don't like the sprites at all. Awakening, balance issues with power up and reclassing. Birthright, way too many faceless. Conquest is the enemy placement that's the dick move. If it wasn't for the enemy placement, it would probably be the best in terms of difficulty. Revelations, Dragon Vein, over-reliance on Dragon Veins and unit balancing. And FE15 Echoes, Cantors and the fucking turtling. And for FE4, the level design, I like that it's big, but it shouldn't be too big where mounted units are the only viable option. Also, arena abuse, because fuck it. I was like, fuck it, train it in the arena. This is pretty much where I just kind of really, you know, go to town with Ellawood and Lynn. God Lord, Lynn. But this is a good place to level them up. Okay, okay, next one. What are your thoughts on the upcoming Fate stuff? Fate Apocrypha, the Kyled movie, or it's called Heaven's Feel, and Fate Last Extra Encore. Okay, I don't know that much about Fate. I'm quite familiar with it. I've watched the original Stay Night, Unlimited Blade Works, and Zero, and I fucking love Zero. Apocrypha, I have yet to see because I've been really bad with the anime, but it's on the top of my list to catch up on shit, so I'll definitely get round to it. The movie, have no opinion. The Heaven's Feel movie I'm excited for because Heaven's Feel was a route which I really liked, and I thought it was really interesting, so I'd love to see where that goes. And Fate Extra Last Encore, I have no opinion. So, two of them I'm really excited for, other two couldn't care less. Well, we can't always get good level ups, what are you going to do? Okay, here's one. Which hated FE character deserves a second chance of being loved by fans? Oh, easy. Perry deserves a second chance. Why? Because I think if they wrote Perry to be more tragic and gone, like, I would have loved if Perry's thing was more of a mental disorder, and they've gone with her, like, her characters around dealing with that, or characters having to accept who she is because of, like, her upbringing, or work around that, or help her. I think that she could have been made for one of the darkest and most interesting Fire Emblem characters, rather than one of the most inconsistent. I think Roy deserves a second chance because I could see potential with Roy in how if they design the thing around his trust issues are really challenged, but ultimately he stays true and believes in people, even at a really dark time in, his life. That would have been great. Camilla, I think, deserves a second chance because when she's not talking about Corona all the time, I think she's a great character and has some really good stuff. Her back, even most avid of haters think she has a good backstory. So Camilla. Faye, I think, deserves a second chance because even though I hate Faye, I think the route they could have gone, even with keeping the whole I love Arm thing, is where Faye is used as a lot of conversations revolve around Faye explaining why she loves Arm so much, but also going into a backstory as to how much of a friend Arm was to her. Because if you think about it, a lot of the people of the group, like Claire and stuff, they're there because of Arm. And Faye could be the one to... Gotta play Path Radiance. Faye could be the one to reinforce that because she's so close to him. Especially because I reckon Arm meant a lot to Faye during growing up because when Celica left, she would be the only girl in the village, and at that age, most boys would tease her. So Arm being that close, it makes sense as to why she'd be like that. So if they wrote in a way where she was accepting of other people just to be friends with her, but they bonded over Arm and they actually gave her actual reasons to why Arm means so much, I would totally get that. Instead of just, no, I don't want to talk to you about Arm. I'd rather talk to Arm. It's like, fuck you. Who else do I think deserves? I think Garen could have had a better chance if he was, if we got more backstory and got to see how his changed. And I've got his Sacred Stones. Twice. So if we got something like that, I think Garen would have had potential. Or we got to see, the conflict between its past self and new self, and stuff like that. That would have been great. Walhart and Gangrel as well, because their supports in the Awakening actually has some really interesting stuff, like how Gangrel ultimately was led astray by stuff and made some wrong decisions, but you see he has regret, and Walhart, how his worldviews did actually have some merit to what he said. So, I think they deserve a second chance. Astrid and Radiant Dawn deserve a second chance because one thing I think they should have done with Astrid would have been so great. Just ignore the Makalov stuff. I would have loved it if Astrid was kind of like, she was head of training new recruits because she's been in the position where she was a new recruit and she wanted to make a life for herself. So because of that, they could really admire Astrid because she's a lot more understanding and sympathetic towards them. So they see her as not only a motherly figure or someone to rely on, but also someone who's been through what they've been through and they love her for it. So, something like that I could totally get down with. Also, just got to hurry this up. I think Fiona, Fiona could have really done with it because there was hints about her having quite, when she last came in Radiant Dawn, she actually did some interesting stuff. So I reckon if Radiant Dawn was more fleshed out, she would have impacted more, and maybe we could have got insight into what she was doing in Path of Radiance. So that would have been really cool. So I think Fiona deserves a second chance. Sophia, I think, deserves a second chance because I wouldn't really change her character, but rather if they made her a better unit and not so much of an aggravation to train, more people would have used her, more people would have got to know her and liked her more and would have hated her less. So there's that. And last one is Setsuna. I only say that because Setsuna's just kind of overshadowed by Takumi. So I reckon Setsuna, I reckon people Setsuna's pretty damn cool actually, and I think more people should give her a shot rather than just, I know Takumi's better, but Setsuna's cool at the end of the day. Setsuna is cool. So the final battle's approaching, and they need to get ready. We all need to prepare. Last question for the day. I'm actually very curious who are your top 5 overall favorite Fire Emblem characters and why, and who your top 5 favorite Fire Emblem units and why. Okay, when it comes to characters, Black Knight, because I think he's just a fantastically written villain in terms of being intimidating, sympathetic, cool, and just really, really well done and complex. Sumia, because of how I love her supports, how beautiful she is, and how much of a personal connection. Jill, because for a secondary character, her arc is fantastic and just so brilliantly done and really goes into forging your own destiny and racial implications. Leon, because I think he's incredibly tragic, really well written, and ultimately does show how the lengths people will go to try and do what they think is right. And last one is either probably Azura or Xander, because I think Xander, whatever his supports, is really well written and just really good Camus type character. And Azura, because I've explained in the past, just really like her. I like her direction. And, you know, I just like a lot of her supports as well. Favorite units to play as? Lucina in Awakening, because she's one of the few units I could send in right at the end without power up and she'll be fine. Effie, because in Conquest she just fucking wrecks all kinds of shit. It's not even funny. And she's pretty much essential in every time I play. Nephany in Radiant Dawn, because she is absolutely disgusting. It's just goddamn beautiful. And you use her so much. Sue in Binding Blade, because she never lets me down. She's like the ideal archer, even though Sin is better, but you get her early on. And Sigurd in FE4, because he can kind of solo that game. He's just absolutely fantastic. Okay, so thank you all for joining me for this part. When we next meet, we got to break through the last line in the girl's defense, and then we fight the man himself. And hopefully, I'll get through as many questions as I can in that last part, because I want to get Olivia and Zane back for the end. But until then, thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all next time.